Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
Welcome to the new setup here at the Voice of the Land. I'm kind of liking this new setup. Unfortunately, Jay, Always Positive Jay, cannot join us tonight. We hope you get better. He is not feeling well tonight, but we hope you feel better. This is going to be, and we'll say it at the top, we'll say it at the middle, we'll say it at the bottom. This will be the last show of Voice of the Land of 2024. We won't be back until after New Year's. So we're going to, our show happens on Wednesdays. We don't, with our schedules, all of us traveling during the holidays of various times, no time to really record shows, and things change rapidly in Cleveland sports as we have seen. So our show that we would record wouldn't make much sense anyways.
Right.
So as a group, we have decided Christmas is on a Wednesday. New Year's Day is on a Wednesday. So we will come back on January 8th, that Wednesday, after the new year, and we will get things started. We're going to try to make things even bigger in 2025. This is kind of the happy holiday special, but we do need to get into some sports. I'm Kevin Arnold. He is Ryan Mosser. We are Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network, partnered with LPV Productions. And of course, we are partnered with and sponsored by Greeny Sports Cards. Get to greenysportscards.com for all the information where they have their card shows going on at. They are the largest producer of card shows here in Northeast Ohio. They do have 4 locations in the area, and we will learn more about them. Phone number and all of that stuff where you contact them. I think they have a big show coming up. We'll get all of that as we go through, and this might be a knock on the, is there wood? I don't think there's actually wood. I'll knock on my head. This might be the shortest show ever in Voice of the Land history since we started doing the video, Ryan. That might happen, and yet we're still going to pack a lot of information in. The Browns, yes, they're still making news. It is our job to talk about them, but we don't have to in Twitter, like, to see when people actually comment on there.
Right.
So if you're on Facebook, that'll be easier for me to take track, and I will open that up here in just a second. But also tweet at us at VTL_pod. I am at Kevin7. That's Kevin with an A. Ryan, you are at Dynasty Clee.
Yep.
And hey, at LPV Productions, always Peter and his crew does a great job. We just did a run through, Ryan, of Cleveland Crunch Soccer. They are, we partner with them too in such a great way because LPV Productions, we have a lot of their guys come on the show. We're looking forward to getting more on in the new year. We just did a preseason game this past Sunday. The Crunch won 8-4, coming off of a championship last season. January 11th is the home opener. Make sure to go to theclevelandcrunch.com. That's theclevelandcrunch.com. See if there's any tickets available. Get out to a game. It is such, I'm telling you, Ryan, if you're able to, bring the family out to a game.
Definitely.
It is family oriented, it is family fun, and the guys stay after the game. They sign autographs for every kid that gets in line to sign autographs, all of them, and it's such a great atmosphere. And again, a championship level team that we have here in town that not a lot of people talk about. More soccer to come.
Yeah.
Ryan, I feel like the only place to start, kind of almost like a news of the week that we're trying to catch up on from last week. The biggest news going on with the Browns right now, there's 2 things, and the biggest news everybody's talking about, DTR now gets to start. And everybody's been asking for this. They want to see what they have because you're out of the playoff chase. You're out of everything. What do you have in DTR? Do you have to go after a quarterback? There are reports that this team wants to bring back Deshaun Watson when he can come back from injury anyways to even try to play football again. I don't know.
Right.
But just where do you stand with this with DTR? Like, have you already seen what you need to see from him, or is there more that you think he can give?
Yeah, I think it's insignificant if I could spit it out. I've seen what DTR is. Yeah, he makes some here or there plays, but he's not the type of quarterback that's going to bring the Browns to the playoffs, let alone farther, which we inevitably want. In terms of Watson, I for one don't think he'll ever play another down. Could they double down and have their say, hey, we paid him where he's going to play or he's going to compete to play? Sure, but it's going to lose the fan base and possibly the locker room. I think the only option is to find a rookie in this next draft, keep DTR, maybe hopefully try to get Jameis back or someone else and try to run with it again. I don't know, man. The future is not looking bright right now.
Future does not
No.
look bright, and I've heard people describe it as this upcoming offseason finding a way to not have to necessarily go to a rebuild, but try to, somehow keep a window open if there is any with some of the talent that's still here.
Right.
But you have to penny pinch because of contracts that you have signed. And the biggest one, the albatross, as people have described it as, that's probably the best word to describe it as, the Deshaun Watson contract.
Yeah.
Like, I have a feeling he will be back on this roster unless there is something with his people where they, force their way out. Players have a lot of control in professional sports, even more so than they ever have before.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like, just getting rid of him, that helps I think from a locker room standpoint. Like, it doesn't feel like you can bring this guy back. And I don't want to see him back in Berea, anywhere near this team again. And, yes, he's posting pictures from, going on a trip with his lady. And while guys are going through it and they're battling through now, I'm sure that that's one instance where he's probably still rehabbing his injury. Right. And I'm not going to claim that he's not doing the work that he needs to get healthy and try to play the game that he loves again. I don't feel like you can bring him back, but I don't know what else you can do to actually get rid of that from a financial and business standpoint.
Right. I mean, bring him back, sure. Let him play on, practice, sure. I don't think he's going to be the best option to be on the field because he's broken in the head. I mean, his decision making has not been good. His talent's been subpar, and it's been a terrible experience. I think to drag him back out there would be just a terrible mistake. But this Browns team, this front office has shown nothing but, in my opinion, mistakes. So I wouldn't put it past them.
I wouldn't put it past them to definitely bring him back. I mean, I hope DTR shows something, but that's a 5th round pick for a reason. Right. I know you're going to have a high pick, and like it feels like a lot of people at this point don't want you to take a quarterback because it's not a quarterback rich draft. And, Medina's own Drew Aller has already decided he's going to go back to Penn State another year, which from his standpoint, people can say, like, oh, why aren't you going for the money? Like, maximize that. If you have some sort of like bad year and then your draft stock drops even more, you're going to get all those things. This kid is making a decision to go back with his teammates because he doesn't feel like he's maximized what he can do for them and bring to Penn State. Now, we're Ohio State fans. We don't want to see Drew Aller and Penn State win, but he is a Cleveland kid, and you still want success for him. And that's what he's choosing. He's choosing education. He's choosing to try to become better because I think people have criticized him for, they just now are starting to see the accuracy, the arm talent, all those types of things there at Penn State. Didn't really play anybody last year. I think their schedule, they might play a couple more of the better teams in the Big Ten next year. Of course, they'll be here in Columbus at Ohio State as that one flips over to the shoe next year. And Drew wants to make that decision. Like, that's one of those like lower tier ones that people were saying, oh, like in a 2nd or 3rd round, that's a guy you can take a flyer on. And he's from here. Like, he probably gets us. And, oh, he gets us, she gets us, they get us. That's so big here in town. He has decided to go back. Shedeur Sanders, there's no way that if you had the number 1 pick that Deion will let his kid come here, and he's probably going to have control over where Travis Hunter goes as well. And so I don't want to get into that mess. We've seen that mess. We've done that mess way too many times. And where the public eye on the player does not equate to what they end up producing for you on the field. And it just becomes a sideshow instead of this is about winning. And I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family isn't about winning. I know that they're about winning, but it's prime time for a reason.
Right.
And Deion loves the spotlight, and he's going to try to put the spotlight on his son and his de facto son in Travis Hunter. And I'm sure he's even going to try to get Shiloh to get some sort of run in the NFL as well. So you're kind of stuck in no man's land. And if you get the 7th pick like you're at right now, it really doesn't feel like there's much to be hopeful about.
Right.
Will in February, once the NFL season is done and we get to the combine and all of that, will the hopes start to rise and people will be saying, oh, well, this move was so good. This was so good. I think the biggest question right now, the thing that has to be figured out before all of these off-season questions and roster decisions, will the same people that are in charge right now be making those decisions next year?
I hope not. I hope not. I mean, they've muffed everything. I don't trust them with these picks. I don't. I mean, you're a good guy. I mean, laser eyes, whatever, great trades, but a few of them, but nonetheless, you failed.
And I think if they stick around, this is probably digging the weeds too much, and I really don't want to spend too much more time on this team.
That's
but
fine.
like, I feel like if they're brought back, there's something the Haslam's wouldn't say it publicly, but that the person I really want to see go is Paul DePodesta, because I don't know, he's never around, but there's just something in me that says he's pulling too many strings that he shouldn't be.
Yeah. The only thing I see that Andrew Berry comes back is if Jimmy Haslam, it was his idea, he pushed it, and he pushed the guarantee. Everything, it was Jimmy Haslam's idea. If any of it was Andrew Berry's idea, sorry, buddy, you got to go.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If those two are brought back, if you split up, now you're trying to marry a coach with a GM, all of that just becomes messy. We've seen every situation, and if you haven't seen a situation yet, I think we even said this last week. If you haven't seen a situation in the NFL of dysfunction, the Browns find a way to bring that to the forefront. Them and the New York Jets. It's just, if you haven't found a way to be dysfunctional, these teams will find a way. So, it seems like we're always finding those ways, but I don't know. To me, it seems like if this front office and coaching staff is brought back another year after such a terrible and utterly disappointing and disgusting year of football, without saying it, it's almost like you have to wonder, are they admitting that they were the ones, the Haslams and Jimmy and his wife Dee, like, especially Jimmy, he was the one to push for this Watson thing, and now he's admitting his mistake by bringing him back, and it's just financially they can't cut ties, they have to bring him back, and that's why those reports are out there. Like, it just seems weird with a front office that doesn't allow a lot to leak, that information's out there right now that they're bringing them back too.
Yeah, and a lot of Browns fans are talking about Kirk Cousins right now. I don't want any. Don't want any part of that as well. No. Keep him away from me.
Talk about maximizing your ability to make money.
Yeah, there's not many options out there. I mean, maybe if the Vikings like Sam Darnold enough where they decide to trade JJ McCarthy, I doubt it. But I mean, why would you? He's on a really manageable first round deal. But there's not many options for quarterback for the Browns right now. We are in it's not fun. It's bad shit.
We're just back in. Yeah. Back being the hamster on that wheel.
Yeah, and I don't want to take a quarterback in the draft. I'd rather take either an offensive tackle or a skill player receiver or corner. Maybe Travis Hunter falls that far. I'm not sure,
because you're not a quarterback away.
Yeah,
you're not a quarterback away from really contending. Real quick, Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
it sucks, man. And I know people were clamoring for him to be sat down so that he can have a full off season where he's healthy and can get that knee back right, maybe get back to who Nick Chubb was. We started to see that game by game. We started to see more and more.
Right.
And Nick Chubb's not the type of person that's going to say you're going to be okay with just sitting down. Like, if he's able to be out there, he's a guy that wants to be out there. Yeah. Is he back next year?
I think he's back. I don't think he's ever going to be Nick Chubb again. I think I think the Browns will sign him just because he means that much to the team and the city. I think unfortunately, the Browns wasted a possible Hall of Fame talent. We'll never know. And it stinks, making the playoffs once or twice isn't going to cut it for his career. And it's really, really unfortunate. Nick Chubb means so much to the city. It's sad to see him go down again, but he's going to fight back because that's who he is. He's going to try to come back. Like you said, he was, starting to gain some speed here and there. I, for one, wanted him to sit out for a longer period of time, especially when I saw his average yards per carry start to plummet there at the beginning of the season. I was like, man, just sit for a minute. That's just for selfish reasons because he had one of the highest yards per carry in NFL history coming into this year. So nonetheless, he came back, and I think he'll come back again. I just don't think he'll be Nick Chubb again, and it's really sad.
Yeah, I don't know that he'll ever be that Nick Chubb, but I think he still has some explosiveness left in him if he gets a chance to really get right this offseason. I know the broken foot will take a little bit of time, but nowhere near, that's a fraction of what he went through to come back from double knee surgery and things like that. And I feel like the Browns will do right by him, and he's someone that, would be like a Jose Ramirez that was, he's not going to be asking for kind of money. It's, it'll be up to his agent to talk with the Browns. But I feel like if there's common ground, I feel like they're gonna do right by him and bring him back. Before we do switch gears to other things going on in the sports world, of course, our friends at Greeny Sports Cards. I'm looking at a video. They got a chance to go to the UConn women's basketball game against Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
That's crazy.
Because one of the student athletes on Notre Dame's women's basketball team has an NIL deal with Greeny Sports Cards, and they've been doing NIL deals, and boy, oh boy, like to have that kind of opportunity, two of the best teams in the entire country. I mean,
historically too.
Yeah.
Every year,
And to have UConn and the name that everybody's talking about this year, of course, is Paige Beckers, who's trying to finish out her college career the way that she wants to when she had injuries to start and has been highly touted for such a long time. So they got a chance to do that. They're doing NIL deals. They're doing shows all over the place. They were just at Glen Eagles earlier today. They're always live every Tuesday at 7:00 on social media. So make sure to check that out.
And great shows too. Great guests, just random, pulp culture. He had an actor that was in the Scream 2. He was the Ghostface. Is really, really cool. Good show. So, just random people all the time.
Yeah. So it's not just sports. And again, I'm just kind of scrolling through here. They just had a big vault sale, and the amount of cards that are sitting around these guys as they take the picture is just so. Head on over to Greeny Sports Cards, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure to follow them and go to greenysportscards.com for all of the information, and call them at 330-486-5159. That's 330-486-5159. One of the teams, I mean, they're big sports fans as well. One of the teams I know that they love covering right now, we're seeing have success. I mean, the Cavs continue to roll.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still December, and you got to turn this over into 2025. They've had a little bit of a break. Now the NBA Cup is done, so the games pick up. They're going to have 3 and 4 days before having a couple of days off. They are not part of the Christmas Day slate, but they have 2 big ones coming up at home on Friday and Saturday. They face off against the Bucks, who just won the NBA Cup, so they are riding high, and they'll have a couple days off to rest going into that one. So it's not like there's an emotional letdown you would see coming from that team. They're starting to play better basketball the way everybody expected them to. And the 76ers always give teams fits, even if Joel Embiid can or cannot be on the floor. That's a team that, you need to continue to keep below you in the standings. What have you made from this team as we get to that kind of what people consider the starting point of basketball, Christmas Day? What have you made of this Cavaliers team and the way when people start to question them, it just seems like they take care of business?
Yeah. I think it's just, continue being steady. I think going through a little adversity, not doing the cup and, losing both of those games to, who was it? The Hawks. Yeah. That kind of humbled them a bit. I think Max Strus coming back soon is going to help a lot as well. I'm really excited to see him on the the court. And I think I'm not really worried. I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to continue, and I think they got humbled a little bit, so they're just going to manage their minutes and continue to hit those threes and be successful.
And I think what you're starting to see is why they made one big change, and that was at the coaching staff. And I guess, I mean, some people might still call it the honeymoon phase, but I think it's just a guy in Kenny Atkinson that understands and is seen from different angles as an assistant coach, what he considers. And I just saw a quote, and I'm not going to say it verbatim because I don't know the exact wording of it, But Karis LeVert has been one of the best, if not the best players coming off the bench
crazy.
in the NBA this year. And no one's talking about him. Like, everybody loves to talk about the story, and rightfully so, about Ty Jerome and George Niang hitting threes better. And now Max Strus will be coming back, and maybe, he'll come off the bench at first before he maybe gets a chance to work his way back into the starting lineup. But that's another 3-point shooter. All these names we're talking about, I try not to, but I think people tend to forget Karis LeVert is on this team, and that is a high volume scorer that is coming off your bench and leading,
succeeding. He's crazy.
And succeeding right now. And look, Karis was in Brooklyn when Kenny Atkinson was there the first time. And Kenny said, I failed Karis. I failed as a head coach. I failed the Brooklyn Nets, and I failed Karis LeVert. And now he loves what he's seen from Karis, and it's just helping him tweak and realizing what he should have done for him then to give him those extra steps to be elite, especially an elite off the bench type scorer, like what we used to see with Jamal Crawford.
Forever.
And just being able to come off the bench, and no matter what, you can get a shot from anywhere. And the effort defensively, the effort to improve defensively. They had one of the worst defensive months in November. And these guys, they took it seriously because they understand, our offense needed the work, and we needed to figure out how to play together on the offensive end. But what JB brought here, the defensive mindset, that has to carry over. We can't just let teams run all over us. And that's why they've lost some games to the Hawks, because you're scoring 120, you give up 138. It's just not going to work, and you're not defending the three. You're not getting in guys' faces. Look, guys make tough shots all the time in the NBA. You're going to have a hand in their face. You can close out. You can do everything right, and guys can still knock down shots without even really seeing the basket if your hand is in their face. You got to tip your cap in that. But if you're just allowing them to just have wide open looks, and guys, playing the LeBron type defense, oh, this guy doesn't shoot threes well, I'm going to sink in the lane and kind of help out. This NBA is showing you that even the 25% 3-point shooters or less, you leave them open. It's like shooting practice when you're seeing the guys hit every single shot they take, and you're wondering, oh, how does that not translate to a game? Well, if you give them that type of shot in a game, that's what's going to happen. So I think this team took that seriously and is taking the defensive end of the floor seriously. But you're still seeing that ball movement. You're seeing that Donovan Mitchell doesn't have to do it all. Or Darius Garland doesn't have to do it all. It might be a night where Darius does most of it, or Donovan does most of it. Even Evan Mobley now, and Jared Allen is just a walking double-double. That, again, I think a guy that goes underappreciated for what he does on the floor, because his numbers aren't gaudy, but they impact every single side of the basketball floor and the basketball scorebook. So sitting at 23-4, we get a couple weeks off, and then we'll kind of come back. And I think as we get into January, we'll really start to be able to hone in on who this team is. They have an identity. Can they continue that identity, especially as they go through maybe some of these West Coast trips and some of these tougher games, because you're not always going to play the Brooklyn Nets of the world every single night. And you got two tough ones back to back, but at least they're at home. And you can sleep in your own bed the day after that night of the Milwaukee Bucks game and go into the 76ers game and try to get both of those ahead of Christmas holiday. Now, they do play on Saturday, but a lot of eyes will be somewhere else. I'll try to have my eyes on the Cavs, but I know where my eyes will be. I know where your eyes will be. I know where a lot of people's eyes will be here in Northeast Ohio and in Ohio in general, if you're not helping to scarlet out the shoe. That is Ohio State, Tennessee, first ever December football game in the shoe. It's expected to be below 20 degrees.
Good.
And wind chills very, very cold. Tennessee, they can run the football. They have a running back that went over 1,400 yards. They have a decent freshman QB.
He's good. He's going to be good.
He's going to be good. He started in the Heisman conversation, kind of fell off. He hit that first year wall, and you go through the SEC. That's an absolute gauntlet. Look, Ohio State has to win this game, but Tennessee is not coming in here, and you're not just going to be able to roll over them. You're going to have to dominate from start to finish and be the more physical team, but not with the intention to just prove that you're more physical than them. Be Ohio State. You have all these weapons on the outside. utilize them.
Right.
I don't understand why they didn't. And Chip Kelly saying, yeah, that was on me. I didn't have a great game plan and we didn't throw the ball enough. Why?
Yeah.
Like, how does that not change when you see that the outside is wide open in that game? What I don't want to see, and this is what I see with the Browns, is I see Ohio State in denial, Ryan. Let me know what you think about this. I see a team in denial, and I've heard comments from Travion Henderson and Will Howard already. Like, they're still bringing up that team up north. Don't like that. Like, you should be moved past that at this point. Now, if you're asking a question about it, okay. But if you're just bringing it up to say, like where is the mindset of this team at? And you bring up that team up north, your mind's like, I fear where your mindset is at. And like, they're almost like in denial that they need to ramp up their attention to detail and how much they care and focus and energy and passion that they play with. Like, that's where I see them being in denial. Travion Henderson, I heard a comment from him where I love how this team is so endured to their faith. And so I have no issue with him bringing up his faith and like that's what his main purpose is. Like, when they lose a big game, like, he can still go to, he knows that through his teachings and learnings in faith, you can get through anything.
Right.
But I hear the tone of saying, like, wins and losses, like both of those you can learn from. And, we have a good team coming in here, we're going to have to play some good football, but like, it just feels like we're more concerned about, like, it doesn't matter like if you win or you lose,
right?
Like, everything is going to be okay. Yes, in faith, yes, but you're at Ohio State, and when you are on the field in between those four white lines, Ryan, battle has to be won.
Right.
And like, there still has to be that edge, that ferocity to go win and show that Ohio State is one of the best teams in all of the country, one of the best programs of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no problem with the faith thing. I think it's pretty cool, actually. I think thinking that win or lose, it's in God's plan. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, technically, but I mean, there still should be some fire. There still should be some, like you said, you're a Buckeye. Like, you got smacked by a terrible Michigan team that, they have some good players, but you should not have lost the way you did. And, again, for, 4 or 5 years in a row is insane. I, for one, have never liked Tennessee. I've never liked Tennessee fans. I've always had squabbles with them on Twitter.
I did not know that.
Ranking in my worst fan bases, they were 8th out of 12, and I'm sticking to that.
They're coming to take over the shoe.
Yeah,
they're trying to take over the shoe.
Allegedly, we'll see. I mean, I think the
students are out of school, and
Well, I think they took the student section too and tried to make it general public as well, which was kind of BS. But that's not cool. But I mean, nonetheless, we got to come out and we got to smack him in the mouth. We have Jeremiah Smith and, in Emeka Buka and Carnell Tate. We have these guys who are, first round talents. Some of them might, I think Smith's going to win the Heisman one day, if he, continues, but use them. Like, yeah, we have great running backs, but our offensive line is depleted. I mean, we don't know who's playing left and right guard right now between, Tegra Shabola was out for a while. So you have a couple guys who, they're just going to see who fits. And if not, they'll just rotate. I'm not confident in our offensive line especially to run. And I was thinking of Luke Montgomery. That was the other. Nonetheless, let's use the receivers. We have a lot of first round talents. Brian Hartline's out taking interviews for head coaching jobs elsewhere. Like, let's lock him down. Let's lock these receivers down, and let's just roll through these playoffs and win this championship. We can do it. We coach scared. It feels like we get smacked in the mouth and then put our tail behind our legs, and it starts with Ryan Day. I think the players can do this. I think they're going to have to overcome the coach, but nonetheless, I mean, this is your senior year. You have, 20 seniors that came back. You never won gold pants. You better go out there and you better win this game.
Yeah. You came back with a checklist of beat that team up north, win the Big Ten championship game. And it like, to me, where the denial also comes in, it feels like because they didn't do that, like there's just this like, well, we still got another opportunity. Like, we're no, like you should be ramped up, you should be revved up, you should be energized, you should be, look, we didn't get the job done. No other team is going to get in our way of what we're trying to accomplish.
Right.
There's one thing, and the biggest thing on our checklist is still out there for us. We should be going after this with everything that we have, one team at a time, one game at a time in this college football playoff, and showing who Ohio State is and why Gus Johnson says it's the world famous, the Ohio State University, the Ohio State Buckeyes playing football on the gridiron on Saturday night. And you're under the lights. You're wearing your Scarlet Color Rush uniforms. You're hoping that everybody shows up and they're Ohio State fans and Tennessee doesn't take over. It's going to be cold. Who the heck cares? Take that and use that to your advantage, because once you start playing, it's not going to matter what the temperature is outside. You have to go and take advantage of this opportunity that you have been given. Definitely. Because these don't come around very often. And yes, it's a very difficult road to get to the championship. You made that bed. You have to lay in it. But it's not because you cannot compete with these teams and beat these teams. It is because you messed around. Stop playing to not lose. Stop coaching to not lose. Play to win. Play to dominate. Coach to win. Coach to dominate. That's what I want to see from Ohio State Saturday and hopefully longer run in these playoffs. Does Ryan Day have to win the national championship to keep his job?
Yeah, he does. I think Vrabel's waiting there.
Do you think that's how the university sees it? So, like, I feel like we're both on the same page there, opinion-wise.
Yeah.
Do you think that's how the university actually sees it?
I mean, they can say what they want. I mean, Ross Bjork, he can say what he wants, but as soon as the donors start chirping, those are the people that matter. And I think that, if we don't win the national championship, say, I mean, hopefully we win this week, but say we don't, like, he's gone. If we any step other than national championship, Ryan Day should be fired. I think he should have been fired after the Michigan game, but call me old fashioned. So
it just doesn't, like, in this new era of college football, those rivalries, like, as much as we say that they still matter, boy, oh boy, it doesn't feel like they matter, because look what Jim Harbaugh was able to do. He was able to stick around and look, credit to him. He took advantage of it and he started beating Ohio State because he was given more opportunities. Ryan Day has lost 4 straight to that team up north. Like, in the past, if this was, Woody Hayes era, that type of stuff, like, when this rivalry really mattered and how fans see that it matters, that should be your job. But again, I understand he's sticking around because they knew that they're going to be a playoff, and to make a change, then you feel like you're really putting yourself behind.
Right? Yeah, it would have hurt the team. Yeah.
It would have hurt the team, hurt morale. Like, I don't know how you overcome that mentally. You would have to, but I don't know how you overcome that. So I get that decision, but boy, oh boy, I saw someone tweet out, and I think it's our buddy Ethan in Virginia, and I know he does his shows around the same time as we do, and we've interacted. We talk soccer all the time. He said Ryan Day coaches so tight that his butt eats his pants.
Yeah.
like it's funny, and it's not at the same time, because it's so true. Like, you're Ohio State. Look at the talent that you have. And yes, people, stop bringing up that they're the most expensive roster. Like, they're not the only team doing this.
Right.
Yes, they are supposed to have the most talent there. But some of the people they brought in, especially their offensive center, like, he can't play because he's hurt, and he's trying to do whatever he can to help out. So, like, stop bringing up the money thing. That's just what college football is. Ohio State is not the one that invented it, and they didn't just do it themselves.
Right.
And now more and more teams are doing it going into 2025. Stop saying that. Just in general, Ohio State gets the most talented teams in the country. Go out and execute like you are the most talented team in the country. Please, for the love of everything that is holy, as scarlet runs through my veins and, is just pulsing and adrenaline running, I want this kind of energy and passion from this team. At least show a semblance of it. That's what fans are looking for, guys. That's what they're looking for. It means something to put on the scarlet and gray and put the Ohio State logo, the block O, on your uniform and have those Buckeye leaves on your helmet.
Yeah.
So you have a helmet in studio. We can actually show it right now. Those Buckeye leaves mean something. The gray, the sparkly gray helmet with the red stripe going down the middle, that means something. And it's not just Ohio State. It's the Ohio State University. Play like it and coach like it. And let's go get a national championship.
Or else.
Before we get into our must-haves with the holidays, some soccer news that came out.
Yeah.
The good news is, and we'll start with the good news, my all-time favorite player, one of the greatest of all time in the game of soccer, Lionel Messi, scheduled to be in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Listen, as a soccer fan growing up, and yes, I'm wearing my Columbus Crew scarf. I want to thank Jordan Climack at my office, who they dropped off some stuff with the announcement today, and I was gifted with the scarf because they know how much Jordan knows, and the office knows how much I love this game.
Nice.
Excuse me. I'm a huge Columbus Crew fan. I always want them to win. I want to, whatever it takes, I want to be at this game on April 19th at Huntington Bank Field, because I never thought I'd have an opportunity to see Lionel Messi play with how he was dominating in Europe and dominating and started to, develop and dominate on the international level, ended up winning a World Cup, which is the one thing that he was missing.
Right.
I never thought I'd have a chance to see him. Then he joined MLS, and I thought, okay, maybe the 2-hour drive to Columbus. I never, ever in my wildest dreams thought that Lionel Messi would be scheduled to play. Again,
we'll see.
I'm not going to talk about it, what could take him out of that game, but scheduled to play him, right. Luis Suarez, some of the biggest names to ever play. They're going to David Beckham's team in Miami, Inter Miami, and trying to, resurrect and help even grow the game of soccer even more, with some of these big names being willing to transfer to MLS and Inter Miami.
Right.
I never thought there was a chance that Lionel Messi would be in Cleveland. There is a chance. And that's a big deal for soccer fans. Yes, I'm going to be rooting on the Crew to beat Inter Miami, but to be able to see Lionel Messi play,
yeah, that'd be crazy.
Would be insane. Like that would be my LeBron James moment.
Do you think they sell at the stadium?
I think so.
Yeah, that's insane. That'd be
67
crazy.
to 68,000.
What a sight.
Yeah. Like that's just that it is insane, and it's going to be electric here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I say all that because look, the soccer community here in Cleveland is going to show up for that game.
Yeah.
The soccer community is deep. And yet Cleveland did not get the chance to finalize, there's still like money to be talked about between Denver and the NWSL, the Women's Professional Soccer League, which is probably the best in the world, where all the best players go is here. Because who has dominated the women's side of soccer? That has been the U.S. women. Who has developed great soccer players? That's the U.S. women. Who developed a great professional league? That is the United States of America. It's been the opposite on the men's side. A lot of young talent playing in Europe where the best players play. And hopefully with the new coach coming in for the men's national team, they make a run in the World Cup that's going to be played here in America in 2026. But Cleveland was part of the final three teams with Cincinnati and Denver. And now the expansion bid is just being negotiated between NWSL and Denver. Denver, I'm sorry. Look, Cleveland has always had a hatred for Denver, especially since the fumble, the drive, all of that stuff. John Elway, and yes, it comes from American football and all of that. But there's still like this animosity. Well, Cleveland has another reason to not really like and have a disdain for Denver. You have 5 professional teams already. You have an MLS team. You have the Colorado Avalanche, Colorado Rockies, the Denver Nuggets, the Denver Broncos. You have all of the major sports. You've gotten some big, big soccer stuff, and you've had a soccer-specific stadium, all those types of things. Cleveland had over 16,000 people with the Cleveland Pro Soccer Group, and we've had their people on. I'd love to get them back on in 2025, see what their plans are now moving forward to try to continue to grow the game. And I need to do a better job of promoting the game of soccer to help grow it. They had over 16,000 people in Cleveland pledge that they would get season tickets should the team be brought here, should the expansion team be brought here. Like you have the Cleveland Crunch, you have Cleveland SC, like some of these semi-pros, you have like other teams here in Ohio, like great soccer being developed. But we don't have a true outdoor professional soccer league. This was another opportunity to grow the game in Cleveland, and Cleveland deserved it. Am I biased? Absolutely.
Right.
But Cleveland deserved to grow that. They had a plan in place for a stadium that was going to be 12 to 13,000, ability to expand to 20,000, right there next to Progressive Field. What's the biggest claim against Huntington Bank Field? It is so disconnected from downtown. You know, the soccer field was going to be right here in downtown in connection with the Metro Parks that we all love here in town, and have those walkways that you could get to Progressive Field, and then Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is right there. So that sports hub right there in downtown, it was all right there. And just were not selected. I don't know what it was. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to try to speculate. It just hurts.
Yeah. Especially when you say that the stadium is going to hold, 15,000 up to 20,000. You already had 16,000 pledged. That's the filled stadium every single game. That's crazy. Why would you not accept that?
I don't know. Cleveland was ready. Cleveland is ready. I'm telling you, a message to those that did pledge. Now, I was not able to pledge myself. I pledged my loyalty to Cleveland and growing the game of soccer here. To do that in whatever way I can. Financially, not able to pledge to get season tickets to a team. I was hoping to actually work, if they came here, I was going to try to work, try to get a job there to really get into, use my career aspirations and my favorite sport to try to intertwine them and hopefully earn opportunities there. But I wasn't able to financially pledge that as we're growing our family between Jan and myself, but was always there alongside those that pledged season tickets, but pledged their loyalty to bringing more soccer to Cleveland. Like that was the biggest pledge. All of those like me and those that pledged season tickets, please, theclevelandcrunch.com, get tickets to go see the indoor team that just won a championship. Go see Cleveland SC, some of the other professional teams. They're all tweeting right now about how Cleveland deserves more opportunities. There's a lot of good soccer here. Make sure to get out and support it and continue to give actual examples on why Cleveland loves the sport of soccer. Please, please, please. I'm telling you, especially during the winter, great family fun is going to the Cleveland Crunch games, theclevelandcrunch.com. I don't really care. I don't get paid to say that. I don't get paid to promote that. Yes, I do their play-by-play. It's people that I grew up with in Wycliffe that help bring this back. Help bring the Cleveland Crunch back. I will promote that, and I will promote soccer in this town for as long as I possibly can, and try to, and hopefully sometime soon we get more professional soccer and big soccer matches like the Crew in Inter Miami. We get other stuff like that on the international level. We get a chance for kids here to see some of the best players in the world show off the world's beautiful game in the world's most beautiful city, in my humble opinion. Sorry, I had to just get it. I had to get up my soapbox, and I've already taken us to 8:45. We don't have much time for we want to get out of here early. Must-haves of the holidays, Ryan.
Okay.
What, like, food-wise, like movies you have to watch? Like, what are those like 2 or 3? Just like top must-haves you gotta have during the holiday season.
Movies. I mean, I love Jim Carrey's Grinch. I think that's the top Christmas movie. A lot of people disagree with me, but I in high school I had a VCR.
I don't. I mean, it's not my number one, but like it's one of my absolute favorites.
In high school I had a VCR. I didn't have cable, and I had that movie stuck in my VCR. So just every night I'd fall asleep to it for like 3 years. So I love The Grinch. Elf, obviously the classic,
Mhm.
and then Home Alone also is just an incredible
Yeah.
movie, timeless movie. Food, I just give me anything, man. I mean, this is my one time a year from Thanksgiving to Christmas where I can cheat and not go crazy, but step away from my normal meals and take some sweets and stuff like that. So I'm just looking for homemade cookies and anything I can get my hands on lately. So
Peter.
Oh, that's a good question. So movie wise, definitely Elf.
Yes, Peter Tellup is here.
I am.
He's not
I've
on.
been here the
Again,
whole time.
There's another camera here I could turn. I'm not gonna do it today. This is the
But-
holiday season. I'm gonna give him his anonymity.
But
Yeah,
yeah, so Elf is definitely one.
Yeah.
Christmas Story.
yeah, classic.
Watch.
one.
Yeah.
That's usually on the TV. Christmas morning. Those are like my two big ones. Die Hard, because it
It's
is
a Christmas movie. Yep.
Christmas Eve. Come home, watch Die Hard. And then like food wise, I'm a sucker for like snickerdoodles. And my wife's cousin's husband, he makes bourbon balls
Ooh.
at Christmas Eve, which are delicious. But I usually can't drink too much of it because it's just too heavy.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
eggnog,
Oh.
I'm the only one I think in
Can't.
my family that likes it. So if I buy any, it's all mine to drink, which is a bad thing.
See, I never really liked eggnog, and I wasn't big into eggs, but Jana's kind of she's helped transform me into a more sophisticated, cultured type of eater and stuff. Now I am unfortunately allergic to dairy and gluten, but they're great, like Almond Breeze and some of those other companies that make like the almond milk,
Right,
the oat
right.
milk, those types of things. They make their own version of dairy-free eggnog, and I actually had some last year and it was actually pretty good. There's
I'm gonna have to try that.
I have done such a good job of finding stuff that, if it's gluten-free, it doesn't taste like cardboard.
Right.
Because I've gone through the bad. I've gone through the bad, guys. The only problem is the best tasting stuff that's gluten-free and dairy-free. It's all the sweets. And man, that dad bod is really, I'm trying to. Lincoln's definitely helping. My 19-month-old son is running us through sprints in the house.
yeah.
So the gym has come to us. So
Mhm.
we're getting back on the horse, guys. Holiday season's probably gonna take a dip into that. But hey, New Year's resolutions, I don't even need to make it because Lincoln's gonna force me to run anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
2 under 3. I get it, man.
Must-haves. I mean, you guys have mentioned some of the movies. Christmas Vacation is another one. Like I just watched that. Like I've
Seen it like 4 times already.
yeah. This is where I've kind of changed my wife. Like she's now asking, like, hey, like, what are we checking this movie off our list? This movie, because when we first met and we first went to the first Christmas together, she's like, you have to watch all of these Christmas movies. You got to watch one every night.
Yep.
You're listening to Christmas music every day. Like, yeah, I'm a big Christmas guy. Again, once Thanksgiving is over, I've mellowed on the whole, because when you have a kid, it's kind of hard to schedule when you're going to decorate. You kind of have
Right.
to decorate around them.
Right.
So we had to decorate pretty early. And we only got a couple weekends where people helped out with Lincoln and got a chance to decorate. So I've mellowed on the whole, like other people shouldn't be doing it. I'm just still like Christmas. I don't fully engage myself in it until after Thanksgiving. Like get through Thanksgiving. It's probably my favorite holiday because of food now. I don't need the gifts anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I agree.
I still feel like a kid at Christmas time and like, oh my gosh, like opening presents and stuff. And yes, everybody says, it's more about the giving than the getting. But really now being a dad and getting to
young
now
children is the best thing right now
like
for Christmas.
now getting to spread that Christmas cheer like onto him and like see his eyes light up the way that I used to light up.
Yeah.
Like that brings the child out of me at Christmas time. We have this like Santa that we got it, I think at Hallmark or
Okay.
something. And it has a plug and it's kind of like a receiver almost to the Santa. When you flip the switch, it turns on your Christmas lights as long as like
cool.
your Christmas lights
Yeah.
are plugged into the receiver in the
Right.
wall. He every morning now he runs to the Santa, brings it to us. He wants to see
funny.
it turn on,
That's
and then like
funny.
when we get home and the lights are off, like whoever picks him up from the babysitter, gotta turn and like his eyes just light up, and that's what I've been waiting for in my life, is to be
Right.
that parent that now gets to
Yeah.
pass that essence on. And I'm not. I still believe in Santa. I don't care. Like I'm in my 30s. Like, but there's a reason why. Like there's an essence. There's a spirit that is all about. That brings, and that's what I'm trying to pass on to my son.
Yeah, we started doing the Elf on the Shelf this year with the kids, and it's been awesome.
We did not do that. We
Yeah.
didn't know like if he really get it
Right, yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
But once he gets a little bit older and we have a couple more kids, like we're definitely gonna.
I did my
gonna
own
do that.
version. I bought like it's like a Browns theme one. It's got like the Browns helmet logo on
Yeah.
his chest,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I think we have that one in our office.
Yeah,
actually.
his name is Brownie, and he works for the Browns during like off Christmas time. So
Mhm.
he's like mascot. So I'm trying to get my son, who's 3, interested in football. So he's like captured that this year and really is obsessed with the elf. And my wife and I have really gone all out so far.
Do yourself a favor and do not go overboard with the QT stuff with the elf,
Okay.
Mhm.
because that will last for about a week, and then
Right.
you will want to shoot yourself.
That's fine.
Because-
I made like a list every
Yeah,
day. I wrote it all out.
Yeah.
So.
Because I mean, you'll just find like as it goes on, you'll be like, oh man, we forgot to
Right.
move it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And people go way overboard, and it's like, no one's got time for that.
Yeah, and I don't like the mischievous stuff.
Right,
I don't-
right.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my kid to be good. So
It's true.
I'm gonna have him do good things, and I instead of like him reporting to the big guy if when you've been bad, I just say, whenever you do a good deed or do something good, he tells Santa. So that's what we
Yeah.
do. So
Yeah.
we do our own little twist on it too.
He only moves if you've been bad. So
Yeah. No, we always make sure he goes back to his spot too. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
our kids are gonna touch him regardless. So
I like that. Like I like that
Yeah.
mentality. I mean, I'd say I rely on my wife for that when we start that because she
Right.
has a bit of more of that mind. But we'll work together on that, and we'll definitely do that. Just a real quick, like really uplifting story about
Sure.
Involving the elf, and I think this is a good way to end this. And thank you to Greeny Sports Cards, and thank you for partnering with us.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be doing more contests into 2025, I
Yep.
believe, with other cards. I know we've already had a couple with Miles
Sure.
Garrett and Nick Chubb, but we'll do some other contests with
Couple
them.
really good ones coming up
Please
after the holidays. So
I know you have a little bit more contact with them.
Yep.
Please let them know that we're going to be off for a couple of weeks,
Got
so
it.
we'll get their message out there and we'll promote all
Yep.
their stuff. But at work last week we had our Make-A-Wish Day. We had our wish day, and I know I told you guys about that. I texted you guys, like, hey, whatever you can give, just
Right.
it's just a uplifting day. And we had some of the Make-A-Wish kids come in that have had wishes granted, ones that are looking for wishes to be granted. I think we raised over $65,000, and they say that a wish costs about
Wow.
$8,000 to $10,000. So
that's awesome.
that's 6 wishes.
Right. That's really cool.
Basically, helped to pay for, and
Sure.
that's huge. And we have a football. There was a football being tossed around lately in the office, and our boss actually tossed it to one of the kids as he was coming out of the studio, being on air, and did such a great job on air, and was having such a great time. It was so uplifting, such an uplifting day. And our boss tossed it to him. He says thank you. And I think he like walked out of the office, and the guy whose football it was, who had it in the office for several years, he's like, where's my football guy? the kid thought it was for him. Like, but
Yeah.
you can't say that.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah.
But the second little girl that went in, I think she had cystic fibrosis. Again, I'm not using any names. I'm not using
Sure.
the families and stuff. But we had the elf in there, and she loved playing with the elf while she was in the office. She brought it in to the studio, and she like knew all about it and what her parents did with the elf at home. And just again, seeing those eyes wide open, and like how Make-A-Wish and like these kids are going through stuff that they shouldn't have to, like, and stuff that people shouldn't have to go through in general, but especially kids, and you couldn't tell because of the help that Make-A-Wish gave, but also just the innocence of a child, and how much
Awful,
they love the holiday season, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it might be, even New Year's and stuff,
Right.
whatever that might be. It was such an uplifting day, and her eyes just went so wide open with that Brownie. It was basically Brownie the elf with the
Right. Oh,
Browns
yeah,
helmet, like
yeah.
the one you guys
Yeah.
have, and stuff. And it was just, man, like I just had a smile on my face the whole day. It was so cool, and
What a
just
cool experience too.
Yeah.
For something that is as terrible as children being sick, you guys can do something about it to either have a story that they're going to tell for the rest of their lives, however long that's going to be. That's so amazing. So,
yeah, and she was all about talking on the
Right.
microphone. Like it was just, again, it's what you envision going on in many people's homes the holiday season, and with all the different generations that are getting together. And I know I'm gonna love to be around family. You got, all of you guys, but you guys are family too. I do have Christmas cards for you guys before I leave.
wow, thank
So from my family. So to all of you out there, we truly wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, which starts at sundown on Christmas, goes till sundown on Thursday, January 2nd. Kwanzaa as well. I believe that starts on Thursday the 26th and goes to January 1st. 7 days there, celebrating the 7 principles, and a happy New Year to everybody. A happy, a healthy, a safe New Year. I know everybody's gonna have their resolutions, and people say they just make goals that you want to achieve as you get into it, and make them small goals. Don't try to make anything too big. You have a big goal out there in front of you. Make little goals, little steps to get there, and let's just all be there for each other. Let's try to come together more as a world, as a people, and learn about everybody else. And that's what we all can strive for going into a new year. Ryan, I'm so glad and thankful to have you a part of the show now.
Thank you.
Peter, I've always been thankful for you. We're going to do some great stuff with the Crunch, great stuff with this show in 2025. Looking forward to all of that. I want to say thank you, and thank you to everybody that tunes in. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my friends that tune in. Ryan, all of your people.
Jay, feel better.
Jay, feel better. So for the crew here from Voice of the Land, I know we tend to do a certain sign off. I'm going to cut it down to a couple that mean a lot to us, and wishing all of you a happy holidays, a happy new year. We love everyone. 3000. We don't just throw that phrase around because we're Marvel fans. We throw it around because it really resonated us with watching Avengers Endgame. So we truly love everybody. 3000. Live life, all gas, no brakes. Anything to say to the people, Ryan?
Make 2025 your year.
Make it your year.
Yep.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Voice of the Land. We're just getting bigger. We're getting better. And we'll be back in 2025. Thank you so much. And thank you to Greeny Sports Cards and the Big Play Network, along with the Be On Air Podcast Networks. Have a great night, everybody.